been wondering about what's been going on the local, on the global, all across the horizon. At the rising of the dawn to the setting of the sun, when the night creepeth in, more and more havoc is run. DMC, do more crazy things, get done while you sleep. It's the turning of a chapter, the end as we speak. Too much BS on the regular, causing all the secular, segregating energy. The world needs an editor, scripted on a regular, building up the reservoir, not heading for the jugular, restructuring the cellular. I'm telling you, not sparing you, enlightening you, not biting. Are you ready for the truth? Take a look all around you. Lately I've been wondering about what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone. On a daily I've been wondering what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone. Can you feel that fire burning? Can you conceal this? All these emotions inside. Love this song.
I love it. Local talent, yes.
Love it.
Lady Love.
Beautiful. Oh, lyric. Full of lyrics. She goes, OMG, I love this song. And Aaron, I can hear him from here.
Best. Lady Love, Bina Bata, I hope I said their name wrong, featuring Kenyon Brown. Amazing. Local talent.
Beautiful. Nice.
The vibes. That's the summer tune. I love it.
Yes.
But welcome, everyone. OCeania Tu, our 6th show. Let's get that out. Our theme tonight is Oceania 2 for the islands. 5 + 1, 6. And we're streaming on the Fiji Day Sydney page, the OCeania Pacific Cultural Arts page. Important to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're meeting on and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I'm zooming. We're streaming from Darraglands out here in Western Sydney. Welcome.
Hi, Trey.
Wonderful. Yes, greetings, Pacific greetings, everyone. I'm coming to you live from the Gadigal, the beautiful Gadigal land in the Eora Nation. I'll get that right correctly. And I just want to acknowledge as well the custodians of this wonderful, great, vast, beautiful land, to those past, present, and those emerging. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Over to you, Ms. MJ.
Whakalofalahiatu. I'm MJ, joining you from, man, we all can't speak properly today. Joining you from Darawal land, and it's an honor to be here tonight. I'm so excited for the show. Oceania 2 is all about sharing information, ideas, and resources for our communities, both here in New South Wales and far abroad. Please let us know where you're joining us from.
Yes.
Yes.
Hula Shiva.
Yeah.
Show us some love.
What did you guys drink?
Show us some
coconut
love.
Juice.
Nothing.
I think we need a drink. I think we need a drink just to kind of cause us to sail through. And for those who are listening in, it is a full moon. Oceania 2, conversations under the moonlight. So it's very much on point tonight, right? So cheers to you ladies, and cheers and bula vinaka to everyone who's listening in tonight.
Cheers.
I don't know which drink to. Yes. Cheers.
Yes, and I just want to say that tonight we are. Cheers. I've lost my line already. See, that's why I need a drink. So, Trey, what is happening tonight? Tell us.
Well, our show today is climate change focus, and world leaders and change makers prepare for the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow. And who do we have on the show, Seb? We have several special guests.
Absolutely, we have Youth4 Pacific. and also put out our stunning video this week, calling on as many people as possible to sign the Declaration on Climate Change, which will be delivered by the Pacific Youth to the leaders in Glasgow at COP26 next month in November. So we'll take a look at the stunning videos and the declaration on that.
Sev.
And we also have Reverend James McGuan, the General Secretary.
Am I looking at the wrong thing?
Conference of Churches.
Am I looking at the wrong thing?
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so we've got Reverend James McGuan. Yeah, he's from Fiji, the Pacific Conference of Churches. So he's making his way as we speak to Glasgow. So he spoke with us earlier in the week from Bremen in North Germany. And tonight it's all about uplifting our islands. Had an amazing chat with him. And as Sev mentioned, of course, we've got 350 Pacific. We shared their video last week, and we've got
more tonight.
Some more presents tonight, and the Pacific Climate Warriors for the Climate Change Conference. And there's a special segment that we get to share. Lots of surprise guests. What else do we have, Mary Jane?
Yeah, we have an amazing lineup today. I'm really looking forward to tonight's show. Also on the program is Oceania Quiz. Now, tonight's Oceania Quiz will be testing you on how well you know your Pacifica flags. So if you think you know, you may not know. Stick around for that. And how was your week, guys? But before you tell me how your week was, because it's climate focused tonight, I thought we could probably share a photo of a climate march that we've attended that really stood out to us, or something, a memory of yours where you amplified the voices of Pacifica people and really, I just want you to share something that stands out in your mind. So let's start with you, Sev. What's a protest that you've attended that's really stood out in your mind?
Can I just say that I've now come on to this week? I was still in last week. So I'm happy to say that I am now on Thursday, the 21st. Now, I want to share with you one event that
we do.
Talking about the climate stuff, as Mary Jane mentioned, and this is one of the photos that I want to put up. This is Oceania Festival down at the Maritime Museum in Darling Harbour, where we had the Vakas that came in from New Zealand, the Cooks, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa represented at the conference for the World Parks Congress, which happens every decade. And just show you one more from there, which is this one. This is the Vakas, actually, if you can see that. Those are the Vakas that came in from the Pacific, and that was when they arrived. It was a phenomenal day. The place was jam-packed full, and it was just a very significant moment again for us, standing up for our Pacific nations and our fight with this wonderful cause that we're on. That's my bit.
That's beautiful.
And we were all there. We were all there together. 2014.
See, I can't even remember which year it was. 2014.
You can't even remember what's on tonight's show.
I don't even know who you two are. What
Forget
am I doing
about 6 years ago.
Where is this? What am I doing? Who am I?
Hey, it happens. Full moon time, things go a bit haywire, and Can I just say, Mary Jane did a beautiful performance. It was the bird dance that she did, that I remember, and she opened that event with that performance, and it was just absolutely significant, very transformational. And over to you, MC Trey. Bernadette's laughing. I wonder why.
Who's Bernadette?
Yes, exactly. Oh, Mana Mea. Yes, see, Shiva said Mana Mea. Correct.
Hi, Shiva. Great. Yeah.
Bless him.
I can't fit that costume anymore. But
was Shiva there? Anyway, sorry. I'm digressing.
Yes, you are.
I think Yeah, so that was one of the earlier protests, and I think over the last couple of years, this is one that's been quite memorable. And there's our bubbers. And thank you, Jane, for pulling this out. Like, I look at images like this, which I haven't seen for years, and it's a reminder of why we're doing what we're doing, and I just love that the next generation are influenced, and they are out there influencing others. So this was the same day, and we were able to get up on stage and stand in solidarity with our Pacific family, just to show, and there were so many of us, and even little Villa came as well that day. So it's just great to see the next generation, and they understand the importance of what we do. How about yourself, Mary Jane?
Yes, for me, first of all, I got double jabbed. Woohoo! Really quick week. Yeah. I was the
You
one
look
that
amazing.
was like, yeah, it must be something. No, it's the makeup. And I took your advice and I put the light up here.
You
So
look friggin'. You look unbelievable.
So when I got double jabbed, but I just want to tell you, when I got double jabbed, afterwards the lady goes, "Welcome to the top 80."
Yeah,
80%. Was I surprised? I was like, okay, that's cringe, but okay.
Were you in between before?
I was, yeah. I was scared of the jab, but I'm cool. I'm proud of myself now. Went to the
You
mall.
should be.
But one of the protests that stood out for me was one of the first we attended here. This one was in Newcastle. And can you still hear me? You can still hear me, eh?
Yes.
So when we arrived, there was thousands of people. It was in Newcastle. The objective of the day was to paddle boats out and kayaks to block the harbour. It was to block the ships from coming in and out of the harbour. So when we arrived, we were all dressed in our traditional wear, and everyone was on the beach. And then we blew our conch shells and had our flags, and we started walking through, and you could hear a pin drop. And you could hear people sniffling like they were crying as the Pacifica team walked through. And then they allowed us to go first, paddle a boat. So that's Joseph there with Fred putting a Tuvalu canoe in the water. And then Fred and the rest of the Pacifica team started paddling out towards the harbour. So that was the one that I really stood out for me. But funny story about that. So Fred gets in the canoe, and the canoe just went round and round in circles because it's a Tuvalu canoe. He's Samoan, so it was a bit different. So everyone's gone, and Fred's still going around like this. But yeah, that's
Fred.
my story.
When you were sharing that, I just got goosebumps, and that's always an indication that the ancestors. So when you said you were walking through, I just got all the shivers.
It was
but
beautiful. Everyone just parted, and I could just hear people crying and sniffling and making way for the Pacifica people and all the kids. And then we all lined up, and they were so respectful to us. But, acknowledge also the Tuvalu and the Tokelauan community and the climate warriors there. But, yeah, that's
so
my
good.
Beautiful.
Wow. And Jane, you said you joined the top 80 because we're like 80% double vax now, the communities, right? And it's good that we're seeing more Pacific vaccination hubs popping up, because our communities are highly at risk. So, we need to, if you can, please, go visit the hubs and get advice from your GP. And we're seeing more investment from the government, right, around business and in the health, so millions going into mental health support, but finally support for businesses. So good to hear the great news coming through.
Right. And we're going to go to our first interview, Sev.
Yes, we have our first interview tonight is with the Reverend James Bhagwan. He's the General Secretary of the Pacific Conference of Churches. He started his journey in COP26 as part of the Pacific delegation. Born and raised in Fiji, Lautoka, and Suva, he has worked in radio and TV in Suva for many years. He felt the call to ministry and became an ordained minister of the Methodist Church in Fiji. So that's our first one tonight.
The Pacific Conference of Churches is the regional peak ecumenical body. They have 33 member churches and 10 national councils of churches as members across 19 Pacific Island countries and territories. This is the first part of the interview with Trey. Great information, Trey. It was too hard to edit, so we're going to put the next one in.
Yeah, so it's good. We'll do part 1 today and then part 2 next week. It was intriguing to hear what goes on behind the scenes for our Pacific delegations and the aim of PCC in Glasgow. And he was in Bremen in Germany, and he talks about his extraordinary journey to get to COP. And the Pacific Conference of Churches has been involved, in previous COP gatherings over the last 10 years, and the faith and the religious communities have been active in the advocacy at COP since the first one 27 years ago. So take a listen to Reverend James Bhagwan's interview.
I'm on a very long road to Glasgow for the UNFCCC 26th Conference of Parties on Climate Change, which we know as COP26. It'll be, almost 3 weeks of traveling before I actually reach Glasgow. And then another 3 weeks of the COP, plus waiting for a flight to get back home. So I'll be away from home for about 5-6 weeks, including quarantine time. Yeah. These are the challenges for us in the Pacific when we try to engage in these very important meetings and gatherings, because they're so Eurocentric. And the last COP was supposed to be in Chile in 2019, so it was still Pacific Rim, but then got shifted to Madrid. So it becomes very expensive for us. It's a long journey, as I said, 36 hours. But it's almost like traveling, for those of us who can remember, about like 30 years ago. When you used to travel in, up until COVID, when you travel now, you just need a passport and a credit card, or, people are now using their phones to keep their boarding passes and things on. But now you need lots of pieces of paper. You need to carry your COVID test with you. You need to carry proof of vaccination. For each country you go to, there's separate declarations you now have to fill around COVID-19. So you have this handful of papers that you need to have even before you check in. It's the new norm for us for traveling, and I think for those of us who will have to travel for work, we have to get used to it. My first COP was in 2017 at COP23, which was supposed to be the Fiji COP or the Pacific COP. And then I was in Madrid in 2019 for COP25. Our role is really one of advocacy, calling for accountability. So particularly from the Pacific, we work very closely with civil society. We try as well to work with our governments to support because we're all one community when we go on these missions, and it's important to find the different spaces to lobby. And so, while the negotiators are inside doing the negotiation, we're speaking at various events. We're outside with the activists doing, important actions and protests, and continuing to raise awareness and really sharing the Pacific voice, the experiences of our Pacific communities, and at the same time, trying to hold our Pacific Island countries and states and governments accountable as well, because it's a really huge negotiation, but there's also a lot of other things at play. There are bilateral discussions going on. There's trade negotiations happening, and a lot of countries try and play some of that development aid politics, and so we're there to make very strong calls, and hold the polluters accountable, and support the Pacific official negotiation delegations wherever possible. And so that's our work. And from the churches, you know, there's also a pastoral aspect. It's very frustrating. It's very difficult for some of our delegations. So we're there, you know, to encourage, to support, you know, share a mbilo of Yangona and have a talanoa at the end of the day and strategize about tomorrow and how we can do things. And so we try very hard to work together as a Pacific community, but, you know, it has its challenges as well. This might be perhaps because of COVID-19, the smallest Pacific delegation that we'll see. And that's because a number of Pacific Island countries are still closed in terms of their borders. And so, you know, you have Fiji, you have Tuvalu, Papua New Guinea, and, you know, a few of the countries like Federated States of Micronesia and Vanuatu, Marshall Islands, Palau. Some of these have made the effort or have tried to negotiate spaces for them to get to COP. But for some other countries, Samoa and others, it's still quite difficult. And so what we find is that they will have to, most likely, my thinking is that they will have to call on their either their ambassadors in Europe, or, you know, from the EU, from Brussels, perhaps from London, or even, you know, as far as the United States, from the UN. So we're not going to see as strong as a Pacific presence as we like. And that's the same for civil society. It's very difficult to get the process to get a UK visa. And so it makes it perhaps all the more important for those delegations that are going to be there, from government, from the Pacific Islands Forum and SPREP and those regional organizations, and from civil society, for us to do as much as we can to work together and support each other, because this is, you know, a very crucial COP meeting.
Love that guy.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, you haven't met him yet? No. Yes, the lovely, the wonderful Reverend James Bhagwan. It's good to see him looking well, and he looks really fit and, you know, ready to take on this journey. So there are a few Pacific leaders that are going to COP26 due to COVID, and with the difficulties of traveling, as he mentioned there. So it's even more important for Pacific delegation to work together collectively and support each other. So catch the rest of the interview next week as it goes into more detail about what the aim of the conference is, and it talks as well about the Pacific delegations and what they will be getting up to, and how we can help and support as well.
Next up is our Oceania quiz. Please answer in the comments. If you get them right, then you will receive the biggest, most awesome shout out ever. Trey, what have we got tonight? What flags have we got? Let's test several.
Tonight's quiz is, how well do we know our Pacific flag? So we'll be showing the flags, and you need to guess the country of the flag. So we've got an image of the flags. So everyone tuning in, you've got to figure out which flags. Let's share the flags, and make sure you put your answers in the comments, and we'll be back with the answers. So
that's number one.
Show them the flags.
That's number one. Flag number two. Three.
Ooh, very challenging. So make sure you put your answers in the comments. Seb, what do we have next?
Yes, coming next.
One more.
Is there one more? Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, someone's got it. We've got, Solomon's, Bernadette. That's correct. Palau. We'll come back with you.
Palau.
Oceania
so
quiz.
Keep guessing. Okay, what's going to happen is this: they're going to get the biggest shout out. Mary Jane said. So what it's going to be is Miss MC Trey over here is going to do a shout out for you with your name and the whole climate thing and all this. She'll just tie them together. You're going to see her in action. Watch this. So she's going to give you that shout out, right? So, but up next, we want to welcome our Pacific Climate Warriors, Joseph, Salome, and Moana. 350pacific.org and the Pacific Warriors, Climate Warriors, are making their way to COP26 next week on Monday, and we caught up with them just before the show. Here we go.
Yes, we've got
But
Brianna.
before we move on,
Yeah.
yes.
You want to get the answers?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Should we? Is that enough time, or do we want to give them more time?
I think we give them more
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
Seb, we had Brianna on. Because they've got a meeting. We filmed this interview with them just before the show started. So it's Brianna as well in that.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Brianna.
And the purpose of it was to bring them on so that we could pay tribute to them. We've also got an amazing lineup of people who have sent in videos to wish the climate warriors all the best. Just warning you, it is a long video. It's 15 minutes, but you're going to see some people in there that we all know and love. So, to the climate warriors, we hope you enjoy this message. You've already seen it, but we hope you enjoy it as well. Introduce yourselves and tell us how you got involved with climate change activism. I'll start with you, Joseph.
Oh man, short answer is I think I just evolved from community organizing into climate activism. It was actually my way in, and it was that same year that everybody was organizing around when all the Vakas came in, because that's the same year that the Pacific Climate Warriors came to Australia. And we had just come off that event, and they were trying to organize this different event, and I got pulled into it. Actually, I got called into it because somebody needed a big piece of tapa to decorate the stage that the Pacific Climate Warriors were talking on. And so they called me, and then I came down to this thing, and I heard all of these stories, and I've been stuck with them since.
And Brianna?
Yeah, I got into climate work actually through learning about it in school, and I think my ties to just really loving Samoa and hearing that reality that Samoa was in danger due to the climate crisis is what really pushed me into the space.
And Moana?
My first experience with climate activism was actually with the Pacific Climate Warriors at the blockade in Newcastle. And we marched through the crowds with Pacific flags, and we did a performance. And it was also through learning from Brianna and her videos about why climate activism is so important. And she was so young, but she spoke volumes to me, especially here.
Yeah, I think our kids did an assignment on Brianna one year. Yeah, Matawai. Seb, do you have any questions?
Yes, it's just interesting. It's good to see you all, and so exciting on the journey that you're about to embark, and to hear as well about how you got involved. I didn't even know that that's how you got roped into it, Joseph. As far as all that, and he jumped right at the front like all our warriors and just took it on, just like these beautiful young ladies as well. So my question is around. They're about to go on this trip. What are you envisaging, and how are you feeling about this whole journey as you that you're about to embark? Whoever wants to go first? We'll go with you, Joseph. You go ahead first.
I'll go first on this one, but somebody else can go first on the next one. I was describing this the other day, and I feel like I'm just sat in the eye of a storm. And so where I am at the moment is very calm, but there is so much happening around us. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty with all the travel and the planning that comes with this. But I think the thing that's been most inspiring about all of these conversations and the planning is just the resilience of our people, and the know that the need that they need to get there, and our ability to adapt to whatever's happening. We're going to find a way to get there no matter what. And it was actually Reverend James Bagwan, who I know you guys spoke to recently, who really helped me, because I was feeling really all stressed out about stuff, but he said a prayer and he reminded me that the work that we do is anointed and is blessed. And ever since then, I just knew things are going to work out. And Brianna's been stressed about maybe not having an MIQ, but we've known things are going to work out because this is what's been laid before us, and we are taking up our calling in service of our people and in service of everything in this world. And so I feel okay about it. There's a lot happening, but I feel at peace. I know things are going to turn out the way they're supposed to.
Amen.
What's the agenda like once you leave on Monday? What's the agenda like for the next few weeks on the itinerary?
Joe would be the best person to know.
We have a crazy itinerary, and the great thing is lots of people know that we're coming, and so we're going to be doing some actions. We're going to be meeting with politicians, with financial institutions, with museums, with all of the people who have contributed to the climate crisis. We're going to go there, tell them our story, and we're going to take part in actions. We're meeting with the school strikers from all over the world. Some really cool things you're just going to have to watch out and see. And then we head to COP, and the opening of COP, I think, is going to blow everybody away, because you might end up seeing a very familiar face opening up COP for the whole entire world. I don't think we can let that under wraps, but she's on this call and you'll see her face. And then we go into meeting MPs and meeting lots of different people, and some really great events. And Moera is actually probably speaking out what is going to be my favorite event that we've listed down, because it's a storytelling event that brings Indigenous people together from Latin America, Minga Indigena, and also from Fridays for Future, so the school strikers. And it's just going to be an incredible session of storytelling of Indigenous people, and that is actually my favorite thing that's on our list of to-do stuff. But there's lots of stuff in between that, but we're there just to tell our story the best we can.
Well, we'll be watching. So without further ado, we wanted to present to you this tribute that we've been collecting for you, in the hope that in those times of heaviness and hardships and in the face of adversity, that you will remember that you're not alone. Not only, God being with you, but the people are behind you as well. And as I said, there's more coming in. And as we collect more, we'll keep sending them through, just to keep reminding you of how proud we are of you. So we're going to start it now, and then you can, say what you want to say to everybody. Here we go.
We're rising in your name, Pacifica.
Talofa. My name is Jalen Aya, and I am here to lend my support to the Pacific Climate Warriors, leaders and delegation that are traveling to Glasgow for the COP26 Climate Change Convention. Now, I think it is very important that our young people's voices are heard, because it is so hard when old people make decisions for a world that they are going to leave. Now, I'm fighting for the future of my island, because it is the foundation on which I stand on, so the world can see who I am and where I came from. Safe trip. May the force be with you.
Malolele, my name is Diamond Lungi. I just want to send my love, encouragement, and hope to our Pacific leaders who are representing us. Just want to let you guys know I'm truly so thankful and support you guys 100%. I'm fighting for our islands because I want our future generations, including my future children, to be able to go back to our homelands and experience the things that I got to experience as a young girl, whether it's learning more about our culture through art, dance, music, food. We are not drowning, we are fighting. Ofatu.
Talofa lava. We are fighting for our islands because it is our home and in the home of our ancestors. Good luck to the climate warriors at COP26. Remember, your ancestors outnumber your fears. Feel their power and take them. Kia kaha, kia maya, kia mana wanui. Be strong, be brave, and steadfast. We are not right, we are fighting.
My name is Jaro Loco. I am fighting because we Pacific Islanders, like all human beings around the world, deserve to live and thrive with dignity. Pacific voices on climate justice are louder than ever. I urge the leaders of the world to hear the calls of the Pacific. Always remember, We, the people of the Pacific, are not drowning. We are fighting.
Taloha ni, ko toku ingoa ko Olivia Hawaii, and I am fighting for the future of my islands because there is so much beauty and strength that runs in the veins of all of us. And I pray that we continue to find ways to preserve what we've inherited and to carry it forward in hopes that we might do our ancestors proud. So to you who are going to represent us at this huge event, I have complete faith that you're going to do us proud, and for your work and for your heart. Hakoetai lahi lele, all the best.
We are not drowning, we are fighting. Best of luck to our Pacific Climate Warriors. We are so grateful having you represent our Pacific nation. Balaka Laka.
I'm fighting for the future of our islands and the land of my ancestors. It is our responsibility to speak. It is our responsibility to act. It is our responsibility to save our world. To our Pacific leaders and climate change warriors. Chee-hoo!
My name is Ato, Samoan Olympic boxer, and now I want to fight climate change for our Pacific Islands. We are not drowning, we are fighting.
Hello, my name is Disciple Patsy and I'm here to stand in solidarity with the Pacific leaders who will be going to COP26 in Glasgow. I am fighting for the future of my Pacific Islands because I come from a land which is very rich in culture, very rich in food, very rich in beautiful, attractive, good-looking people. And also Pacific people have borne the brunt of climate change and the effects of climate change, and they deserve to be at the front line and they deserve to be at the table that makes the decisions. I would like to send a huge thanks and encouragement and love to the Pacific leaders who are attending and doing this really important work for us. Loads of love, Disciple Pats. Piriana Sekwana He Boots.
Yo, what up fam, it's your boy Paito here, aka Bizza from the Penrith Panthers. The reason why I am fighting for the future of my islands is because my parents was raised there, born and raised there. Every ounce of values and teachings they brought, spread amongst myself and my siblings, and if it wasn't for them and their culture and their parents as well, my grandparents, if it wasn't for their teachings, I wouldn't be the man I am today. So much love, take care, God bless.
I am fighting for our islands because our culture is beautiful, our people are beautiful, and our islands are beautiful. I grew up in Sydney, Australia, but my family live in Savai'i in Samoa. And when I think about climate change and I think about making a difference, when I think about my family, that's what inspires me to make a change and, try and make an impact because of them. And I think about the house that they live in and the property that they live in, and it's like so close to the water. And I just think if climate change was, to bring tides in even more, like the amount that my family would lose, and it just really upsets me because, I love my family as everyone else. So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you. Thank you for all your work. You guys are really, really inspiring. Keep going, stay strong. Even though we're not with you right now, we're with you in spirit, and we are not drowning, we are fighting.
Kia ora na tātou katoa. My name is Jasmine Matakairiki Samuel Mata, and I am one of the co-directors of a professional Cook Islands dance troupe here in Sydney, Australia, known as Moera Pacifica. Today I pay homage to our tupuna, or our ancestors, who paved the way in keeping our people thriving for centuries. And today I also honour our Pacific climate warriors who stand in the position of our tupuna as a voice for all Pacific nations. So today I am fighting for the future of my islands because in the past 30 years of returning home, I have witnessed our beaches turn to water, and I fear whether it would be my last visit. Today our Pacific climate warriors fight for the preservation and existence of our civilization.
Talofa, I'm Moera Tufunga.
I am fighting for my islands because within my island holds millions of identities, rich culture passed down from our ancestors, a place to call home for me and many Pacific Islanders. I wish the climate warriors and our Pacific leaders the best of luck and thank you for representing our islands at the COP26 in Glasgow. And don't forget to sign the Youth4 Pacific Declaration and have your say.
We're not drowning, we're fighting! Hi, I'm CJ. I am fighting for my islands because it keeps our culture alive. I hope our world leaders will listen to save my island.
Hi, my name is Villa. I am fighting for my islands because I want my islands to last for many generations. We have a special country with special values. God bless the Pacific. And I want to wish the climate warriors and all the Pacific leaders a safe journey to Glasgow.
And don't forget, be strong!
I am fighting to protect the future of our islands, because if we protect and save the Pacific, we protect and save the world from this global crisis that is climate change.
Talofa lava, my name is Penina Moera. I'm a New Zealand-born Samoan, currently living in Auckland, New Zealand, but I grew up most of my younger years in the Cook Islands. I'm fighting for the future of my islands, for my children, their children, and the generations to come. The last time I took my children to the island of Savai'i, there's one whole stretch of the Whangamalo coastline which had eroded away from cyclones and strong sea surges, and now it's propped up by a man-made seawall. And lastly, I'd just like to pray God's travelling mercies, blessings and favour upon all of our Pacific leaders who are fighting for climate justice at the 2021 United Nations Pacific Climate Change Conference.
We are fighting, not drowning. Sending all my love, thoughts and prayers to our Pacifica leaders who are fighting for change.
Pacific greetings to you all. My name is Janique Sayuli and I am the founder and creative director of Sydney's Pacific Runway. I am fighting for the future of my islands because of my children. They are the next rising generation. I want to send all my love, strength and courage for the Pacific delegation. May the Lord continue to bless you all whilst on this journey. I know that each of you hold a special place and are filled with much knowledge and mana to fight for the future of our islands. Kia kaha.
Kia ora, talofa and kia ora. I am fighting for the future of my island because my ancestors were warriors and I choose to do the same in honor of them to fight. Let's stand together, united with the Pacific Climate Warriors. Love you.
I come from a long line of people, and so I feel it is my duty to stand up and fight for the future of my island. I am proud to say I am a daughter of the Pacific.
Please stand united with us and make a difference. We are not drowning, we are fighting. We wish our young Pacific climate warriors all the best at COP26, and we know that you will represent our Pacific Islands with so much strength, love and passion to remind our leaders. We are not drowning, we are fighting.
Hi, I am Cindy of Samoa. Greetings and talofa lava from our beautiful island of Samoa. I want to wish all our Pacific climate warriors, our leaders and our delegations the very best of luck. I wish you all the best, guys. Keep up the good work. Alofa teleatu and God bless.
Malo elele. We are fighting for the future of our island because my family still lives there and my culture is part of my identity. To our Pacific warriors, raise your voice for the future of our island. Malo Alpito.
Hey guys, my name is Miracle Temerity and I'm a Pacific Islander Community Liaison Officer here in Sydney, Australia. I am fighting for the future of my island because it's a part of my identity. It's my whaasino mama. It's my home and the home of my parents, my grandparents, my forefathers and my ancestors. Thank you for being the strong and courageous warriors you are and for being our voice. Thank you for encouraging us to take action and for taking the lead. And just like all the inspirational figures in the history of our cultures, you guys will be those significant history makers, game changers, and cycle breakers that us and younger Pacific Island generations will learn, know, and talk about. All the best, and with all my love, God bless.
Tala Falama, my name is Rosaline.
Fatala Fatu, my name is Susan.
Fighting for our islands, just as our ancestors fought for our freedom.
We would like to wish all the Pacific Climate Warriors the best and safe travels to Scotland for the COP26 this year. Good luck. Hello, your favourite.
I'm fighting for the future of my islands because learning about my culture of Tonga and other cultures of Matavai has given me more appreciation of my island, people and their culture.
Living and growing up as a proud Tongan and being brought up in Tonga and now being able to teach Tongan culture to this generation gives me hope for future generations and the ability to either live or visit the islands in the future and experience the life and culture themselves.
Good luck, all the climate warriors!
I'm fighting the future of my islands because if we lose where we're from, we may even forget where we had come from. We are not drowning. We are fighting.
We are not drowning, we are fighting, and we're going to continue fighting until our voices are heard. We're sending so much love and support to our Inga in Glasgow. We wish you the best, representing us all from your little islands and your big families in the heart of the Climate Change Conference.
I am fighting for the future of my islands because this is me, this is you, this is us. From the ocean to the land to the elements to my ancestors, this is who I am. I, Tiana Nonosina Liufao, would not exist without these islands. To the Pacific delegation, our climate warriors, may you be the voice for us and our ancestors. May the voice of the drum send you my love and my mana to represent for us.
Well, it's a long video and there's a lot more to come, but I hope you felt the love there.
Yep, that was so beautiful. I was trying not to cry when seeing all the young ones. But I'm still trying not to cry, I think. Yeah, I think it's such a representation that this fight is not an individual one. I think in like the Western lens of climate justice, it's to fight for my future, for, you know, my planet, my way of life. But for Pacific Islanders, it's not an individual task. It's a collective dream. And I think, yeah, just seeing those videos and seeing especially the young ones is just further a reminder to us that it's so much more than just us. And I think it like ties back into what Joseph was saying earlier about this work being anointed, because it's for something bigger.
Beautiful. That completely took my breath away, and you know, it just goes to show that we all have a reason. We all have a reason to be a part of this, and it doesn't matter how big or how small the role we play in this is. It's important that we all stand up and claim that. And whether it's just telling our story or telling the world why we are fighting for our islands, all of this contributes to everything we are fighting for. We might be there at COP in the middle of these discussions, but our job there isn't to like try and be the best negotiators or try to be the best at something. Our job there is just to bring the voice of our people with us. And so I thank you for putting those together, because we will carry all those voices with us and those stories, and we will share them wherever we can. Send me a link to the video so I can watch it after this and I can have a cry in private.
It's all yours. It's yours. Yeah. You also shared with us that maybe the kids could say, you know, I'm fighting for my island. So it's all inspired by you. Moana?
I was editing it and I had already watched it a few times, but I still can't stop crying, especially seeing the young ones, because that's really the whole purpose of us going there. And I think the main standout quote was the one by Kaylee where she says, your ancestors outnumber your fears. And there is a lot of fears that I'm feeling going there, but I know that we've got the support from our communities and we've got the support from our ancestors. So I think everything will be all right.
You crying, Trey?
Yeah. And, you know, we just want to thank all those of you that have sent in messages. And also thank you to the Pacific Warriors for taking on the fight. We want to wish you all a safe and blessed journey. And always remember, wherever you are, we are fighting with you, and you are standing on the giant warrior shoulders of our ancestors. We are not drowning, we are fighting. God bless you.
You're right, Trey?
So true. Yeah.
It's a lot to take on, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a lot. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
though. The more
Beautiful.
and there's more coming. We just got to stand strong, stand together. We're an ocean continent. There's a lot of power in where we come from. The next segment, guys, is what is it? Did we already say what the answers to the flags
No.
were? Okay, let's go back to that.
No, we have.
Do you want me to do this, Trey, or you're right?
Yes, please. Rock the flags.
All right, the first flag was, if you got Solomon Islands, you got it right. Did anyone get Solomon Islands? Can someone check who got Solomon Islands? I think I saw. Flag 2 was Nauru. Gee. It's a beautiful flag. This one.
I think
Where's
Benny.
this one? Bernadette, yeah. Micronesia.
Is it Palau? Micronesia.
No. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the last one was Palau. There you go. Beautiful flags. You know, we don't often see these flags. Well, I don't in my world anyway, but I'm sure.
Me neither.
Who we got? Yeah, but they're beautiful. I love the colors.
And they're so simple, right?
That's right.
They're simple.
Yeah.
They're not so complicated and just beautiful and simple. I love it.
That's right. So coming up next is What Rocked Your Coconut? Shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay. Seville, you go first.
What rocked my coconuts? Well, you know, on the same topic, what rocked my coconut was first I was talking about, I think I mentioned it last week, was the PM announcing about commitments to the net zero targets and saying 2050, which is just so boring and slack, right? That really, all the other countries that are in the same space as Australia have committed, 10 years away in 2030, while Australia is another 20 years on top of that. Like, really, we can do much better than that. And it's time that we put the planet first rather than just profits and trying to, I don't know what on earth is going on. So rocking my coconuts, disappointed with the lack of commitment to our planet by this government. And so, they need to step it up. And I hope that our Pacific Warriors will be confronting some of them over there in Scotland. And also it shows us as well, guys, that we need to do a lot more in Australia. Like, we as Pacific people need to push Australia further in this direction. And so this is a sign for us, and an encouragement for us to actually step up and do more.
What about yourself,
So
Trey?
true. Yeah, similar discussions, similar thoughts, you know, about the climate change, but I'm hearing that there seems to be growing support in Parliament, you know, because the spotlight isn't on Australia, you know, but so that's one of the things that rocked my coconuts, but also the full moon as well has been rocking my coconuts all week, you know.
How?
So that's caused, you know, because I guess it brings about a lot of emotional turmoil and there's tensions, but you know, it's also time for releasing, right, and letting go of things. So everything's been rocking, but so that's part of, you know, what's been rocking my coconuts this week. And that video was just so beautiful, by the way, and it really hits home to, you know, the work that climate warriors and Moana are doing and the importance, you know. And so, you know, it's great to see all of that and everyone, you know, coming together, and also Jane and Moinky for your hard work to put that together, you know. They can take it on their journey with them.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Thanks to Moana. I don't think I thank her enough. You know, being the mum, I think I take her for granted a lot, but I love you, Moana. I'm going to miss you a lot. For me, it's a little bit off from climate change. What really rocked my coconuts this week was the death of Sean Wainui, a young rugby player, just so tragic. He, you know, following his journey with his wife and in his career, maybe you've seen the viral videos of him and his son when he's teaching his son the haka. What I really loved about Sean was how proud he was to be Māori, and it just was so contagious. And it's just so sad that we've lost such a talent. And I just wanted to, you know, extend my condolences to his family, his beautiful wife, their kids. And I guess what I found in this moment was that people, a lot of Pacifica people kind of came together. We don't know the family, but we were all sharing and we felt it, you know, we felt it because we watched them through social media. So that I think that's what really rocks my coconuts. And I also wanted to mention people in our own immediate community also mourning, you know, the death of loved ones. I just want to also extend my condolences to you, thoughts and prayers for everyone going through times like hard times like this. So that was me, a little bit different, but yeah, definitely still climate change.
I saw a lot of the community commenting about the death of Sean Wainui, and I saw that quote about one of our New Zealand's tallest trees has fallen, you know, and it really hit home to the mana, you know, that he had. But it's the positive thing is, like you said, people are coming together in support, you know, and sending their energy to his family. So
there was a video of his son. His son is only little, and his father was doing a haka. And his son, and you know, these are videos that you just see all the time. And it wasn't until I didn't know it was Sean until I went back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I loved that video. And that's something that his son will have, you know, a memory of him and his father. It's such a powerful video. And I just no more. Like there's a lot of rugby players we've lost a lot of rugby players. Jerry Collins, you know, like there's been a lot in the past. So so that's it for the show. We're going to end it on, what are we going to end it on, Sev?
We're going to end it on Moonlight Thoughts.
Moonlight, oh, moonlight tango up in my bundle. Take me to a dream where there's only dancing, romancing. Under your spell, we're only two could share that romance and moonlight, Fijian moonlight.
Moonlight thoughts. What are your moonlight thoughts out there? Tell us what's going on in this full moon. And over to Miss MC Trey on what are your moonlight thoughts at this?
Moonlight thoughts, you know, it's a beautiful show that we've had, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster, jam-packed on so many levels. So just my thoughts, to take care of each other, connect, and, let us be there for each other in spirit or in real life, and take care of yourself. Bless. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. And you, Mary J?
I am thinking my moonlight thoughts are stand together, come together, stand up for Oceania, all the continents and our islands, our people, our ancestors, and most importantly, our descendants. Our descendants deserve to inherit their islands in all its beauty and everything that our islands and people have to offer. I'd like to wish our delegates from the Pacific Islands all the best on their journey. I also pray for the other world leaders that they make the right choices. O mama na alo yo faiva. Ia o taututu ma losi ma fatuatua le atua. Ia manuia tele le whainga malanga ma le whamoe moe tō whasoifua.
Beautiful, beautiful. And my moonlight thoughts are, we're going through a transition point right now. You can see it everywhere. The signs are all there. There's a lot of shifting happening on so many levels. Seasons are ending. New seasons are about to begin as well, like you mentioned about the cycle of life. And it's an important time to be okay with being still and allowing yourself to be grounded, being kind to yourself and those around you. Here in Australia, we are opening up slowly. New South Wales a lot faster than others and so forth, and other places around the Pacific are starting to look at what it looks like after this pandemic, and as we come out. So it's an important time to just be mindful of all those things and stay in gratitude. And we are sending you lots of love and wish you all well for the rest of the week and weekend. And until next time, we want to say vinata.
Let's dance it out.
Nisamode. Yeah. Go.
Can you feel that fire burning?
All these emotions inside. 'Cause I want you to know.
Let's move this one again.
I want to
There we go.
with you. I want to be all of you.
Gotta coordinate.
Wait, ready?
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 That I see when I wake up in the morning. I wanna see you laying by my side. Feel the touch of my skin.
This is the Tongan Paulunga senior class.
Malo.
Que tu lo moe lupe taua moe la ione imala ekula kahala hale ako ufanga ekolosi he aka ufakalawa no for popular